सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We will chant the fifth Anuvaka. Those of you who know and have the copy can follow me. नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्युक्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिपिविष्टाय च नमो मीडुष्टमाय चेशुमते च नमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय च नमो बृहते च वर्षीयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृध्वने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च नमः आशवे चाजिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च शीभ्याय च नमः ऊर्म्याय चावस्वन्याय च नमः स्रोतस्याय च द्वीप्त्याय च। So yesterday we saw till the Sharvaya cha Pashupataye cha. So today we will go through the Neelagrivaya. So repeat after me. Namo Neelagrivaya cha Shitikanthaya cha. The one who has a white neck with a blue throat. Neelakantha. Salutations to that Neelagriva and Shitikantha. So if you see the beautiful form of the Lord, when you sit for doing the dhyana before puja, and every puja has to start with dhyana. So when you do that dhyana, he is Gauranga Sundara. He is the whitish hue. And we have seen various examples in the dhyana shloka of the Laghunyasa. That his glow is something like the white light emitting from the full moon, pleasant yet glowing fully with a whitish hue, like the pearl hue. Matted hair which has turned to become reddish brown. On that he has the bhasma, Vyaghra charma. He is wearing the tiger skin, sitting on the beautiful Kailasa, and his eyes are half split, but there is no eye movement, wherein he is completely absorbed. And all these white background, the mountain is white, He is white, glowing white, that too. There is this beautiful portion of this, as I was told yesterday, it is called the Adam's apple. I don't know why it is called Adam's apple. This elevated portion here on the throat. That portion is turned blue. In fact, Bhatta Bhaskara in his Bhashya, he says that it is not that the entire Griva is turned into blue, it's something like 1,000th of his Griva has turned into a light attractive blue color. And the story is well known. The story is that he had consumed the Kalakuta Garala. Garala is Visha, poison. And the mother, knowing very well that nothing will happen to him, but it was her Shiva. So out of panic, have you ever gone to a game wherein your child is into gymnastics or what do you call that? When they jump into the water pool, diving. So diving and other things, it is your child. The other is just for fun they keep doing it. But that day when they are in the competition, everybody is silent, they are doing a reverse split. You are on the edge of your seat. As they jump, you gasp. Knowing very well that nothing will happen, it is a piece of cake. It's an easy peasy thing for them. But still, similarly, Parvati Devi, Annapurna Devi, she rushes and holds it on his neck. His neck turns blue, his throat turns blue, not because she was holding it, because the poison was stopped there. So one Mahatma Ji explains, he says that Kalakuta Purvam, the episode of this Kalakuta Visha, Purvam Shitikanta. How was he? He was with the white throat. But because of his compassion, he became Neela Griva. And if you look at the sequence of things that happened on that day, which day are we talking about? That day when the Meru Parvata was brought into the Kshira Sagara, and then the snake was turned into a rope, churning rope. One side were the Devas and the other side were the Danava. Even inside that is exactly what happens. The intellect is churned in the Antakarana. And who are the two forces that are fighting? Our own positive versus negative. And who wins? You, the consciousness, consciously choose one of them to win. So if you are really conscious, what will you choose to win? The positive side. Therefore, that Paramatma appearing there, supporting the Devas, is not something unusual. But that was way back, way later that happened. Even before that, there was a lot of things that happened. First, the mountain was sinking in. It happens to us also. When we take something very, very sincerely and start the little effort, You contemplate on lot of pros and cons that could have happened or not happened. Somewhere in between, looking at the tussle inside, we almost feel, is it even worth it? Should I even do it? And the intellect starts sinking in. There also, what is the support required? It is a faith in the Lord that comes, supporting it on his own back. And then the mathana, the churning process starts. The churning process brought in a lot of things. More than half of it, who took? Vishnu took. He said most of these are required for my what do you call it, troubleshooting business. The first thing that came out of that churning was Visha. See, when you wash your clothes, not that it's a big task these days, you just throw it into that washing machine. Don't do that, okay? That will be a chaos. I'm sure each one of you has such story wherein you use the scrubbing soap in the dishwasher and the entire thing starts frothing out and you freak out for a moment. Luckily it was not in the house. Why? Usually such mistakes happen in apartment. Okay, into the washing machine. Have you seen the first churn of waters that come out? What color are they in? Kala Kuta Vishavat, black. Soiled clothes and all the dirt starts coming out. And we start complaining that all the dirt is coming out and I don't know this process of washing, I don't know whether it is right or wrong. The purpose is to remove the dirt. So all that Visha comes out. Brahma is approached. For such tough situations, not me nor Vishnu, the daring edge to tackle such problems, I think we all have to pray to Shiva. And he comes. And what does he do? He takes this Visha. If that Visha were allowed, the entire 14 worlds could have been consumed in that poisonous air. And he takes it in, sustaining it in his throat. See, whenever we have negativities, where do we keep those negativities? Don't spit it out into the world and say that I am very straightforward. Whatever is here, I say it out. Put a filter. And you have to check that filter, like you have the AC vents and other filters that you change regularly, right? You do. Similarly, here also the filter and its standard has to be checked, and don't just spit it out. Filter it. Don't allow it to be inside so that your anthakarana is disturbed by this Visha. Maintain it where neither the world is disturbed nor you are disturbed. And here, knowing very well that it would become a blemish on his self, like the scar on his throat, he takes this Visha, the Kalanka, and because of his readiness to sacrifice and his compassion, he is called the Neela Griva. And then he says, before the entire creation, he was Nishkalanka Shiva. There was no blemish on him. Therefore, he is the Shitikantha who does not mind taking the kalanka of this avidya so that he can give his devotees moksha. So, the compassion of that Lord is shown through this Shitikantha and Nilagriva. So, they say that this very clearly explains the prapancha and nishprapancha. That the Paramatma is nishprapancha, nishkalanka. And he takes that adhyaropa of the prapancha to give the devotee Shitikantha, purity. So, adhyaropa and its apavada through sadhana, Bhagavan Shiva blesses everybody with nishprapanchatva. Wherein nothing is contaminated any further. Namo Nilagrivaya Shitikanthaya cha. Now, here is the Lord, as somebody said very beautifully, that Lord has everything, right? One step before I go to that Lord. When you go to somebody that you really love, and it is some important day of theirs, say a birthday, anniversary or something, and you really love them. So, what do? You keep an eye on what is it that they don't have. If it is somebody like the Lord, he has everything. What can you give him? That which he does not have. What is it that he has, what is it that we have and that he has not? The entire avidya. The ego is the result of that avidya. That adhyaropa of the avidya, go submit it at his feet. And what does he give us back? The apavada, it is removed, the avidya is removed, and he gives us the moksha. So, moksha rupa Shitikantha and karuna rupa Nilagriva. To such Bhagavan Shiva, who is both the compassionate one and the one who blesses each devotee, irrespective of what their background is, moksha. To such Shitikantha, our salutations and prostrations. Moving forward, the next mantra, repeat after me. Namah kapardine cha vyukta keshaya cha. Namah kapardine cha vyukta keshaya cha. Salutations to that Bhagavan Shiva who is Kapardin. I should think of all these names when people come asking for some new names which nobody has ever heard, nobody has ever used. I should give them these names. Recently I did that. The parents thought it was a joke and they were fine, but the grandparents also who were there, they thought it was not a good joke. They were going to have a daughter, and they said, give us some unique name. So I said, Bhandasura Vadodyukta. So I showed them also Lalita Sahasranama, it is there. And the parents are like, give us some other a small decent name. So this is one of those. Kapardin. So what does Kapardin mean? Salutations to the one. Kaparda means the one who has matted hair. See, the matted hair also, while during Padayatra, I had come across a lot of sadhus and sannyasis walking all by themselves, and out of curiosity, because my greatest thing was, how do you maintain it? I have always seen it, but I never knew how they would maintain it. They say it is a ceremony. To even wear that matted lock, it's a ceremony, it's a ceremonious process. There is this banyan tree. When you cut the bark, there is this white sap juice that comes out. It's a very sticky one. Have you ever seen? And it leaves stains if it falls on the cloth. They collect a bowlful of that sap, and then they apply it at different layers on their hair from the scalp. That way the hair, it's something like what the kids in today's world wear, what do you call it, gel. So this is the most natural gel, and it gels so well that the hair will not be parted. So in different locks they gel the hair with this banyan tree sap. And that way my next question to him was, there is a possibility, chances for the ordinary hair itself, there is a zoo that can be run there. What do you call those? Lice. Or said, no. This sap, when you apply it, the juice of the banyan tree, it makes sure that there is the head is not bugged. There are no bugs inside there. And once a year, because the hair grows, once a year they reapply. So the one who has natural matted hair, and he has tied this matted hair around in a tuft on the top. There is so much of hair that he has just pulled everything and tied it down on the top as a tuft. So that matted hair which has been tied into a tuft is called Kapardin. The one who wears such matted hair tied into a tuft is called Kapardin. Kaparda is to have that matted hair. So to that Lord who is in the matted hair form, our salutations. And as a funny reference, immediately the next one is Vyupta Keshaya. Vyupta Kesha, shaven head. That he has taken out all the hair. So Bhagavan Shiva does not have intermediate. Either he, probably in Kailasha also, like in US, the hair salon costs must be exorbitantly high. That you either grow or completely mundana. Kesha means hair, Vyupta, absence of hair, which is called the mundita hair, mundita head. That head which is cleanly shaven. So salutations to the Lord with the matted hair and the shaven head. So the Jatadhari, the one who had tied its tuft, is the Veerabhadra form of the Lord. Naturally, it is based on utility. Veerabhadra form he had taken in that rage, and with the hair falling all over, his visibility was not that great. So what did he do? He tied it down into a tuft. Then later came the necessity wherein he had to contain Gangaji. Therefore, he put that tuft and absorbed Gangaji inside. Again, there was a lot of tapas done for that Gangaji to be slowly released from his jata. Otherwise, he let it loose. But now Gangaji has become a permanent asset on his head. Therefore, he is always in the tuft. And Mundita Shankara. Salutations to this kind of Bhagavan Shiva. In the Daksha Yagna time, there is this reference, Daiva vai Yagnat Rudram Antarayan Sayagnam Avidhyata. Shivahina Yagna, meaning Upasana Rahita Karma, leads to annihilation and destruction. And the very proof is our Daksha Yagna. So, as a reminder for everybody that never ever perform even a smallest act without thinking of the Lord. Constantly maintain, constantly think, constantly remember that Lord. It's very simple. Our ancestors, they may not have known the reasons behind, but what they did had lot of sense to it. If you go to your ancient homes, both inside and outside the threshold, the main door to the house, there is always a vigraha or a form of the Lord which is always there on that threshold. So before you go out, you look at that Lord, Kshemaya Punaragamanaya cha. I am going out, O Lord, bless me. You say a prayer. As you come back in the olden days, the cleansing process was outside the house. It was not a part of the house structure. The bathroom and toilets were outside. As you come in from outside, actually the bathroom and toilets were in the back side. And as you come into the house, there is one corner wherein you wash your first hands and legs and then enter. So you come, as soon as you come, oh Lord, thank you, I made it home again. So you think of the Lord in every act. And nowadays in US, it's very easy to identify a car owned by Indian, especially a Hindu. How? In all the cars you will find one or the other form of God. Especially it is Ganesh ji. See, when about 8 years ago, when this car that I am driving, there were about 6-7 Ganesh ji that came. So I put a lottery, and whichever Ganesha won the lottery, I put him inside. So when you go for for your job or wherever, before you start, think of the Lord. Say a prayer and then start your act. Upasana-hina karma, upasana-rahita karma, meaning Shiva-hina yagna, will only invoke Veerabhadra, and we don't want that to happen. So whatever small or great act that you do, whatever actions that you take, make sure that you constantly think of that Lord. I am not talking about an elaborate process here, that every time you sit in the car, take a coconut, 4 lemons, put it under the tire and take the coconut, put the camphor on there and light it, and then you may have seen that in India. People are going on yatra, especially this Sabarimala. They go in batches. The whole vehicle is painted with chandan and kumkum, and then they do elaborate. I am not talking of that. Just smarana matra. Think of the Lord in every single action. So that is the Jatadhari Rupa of the Lord. And what is the Mundita form of the Lord? When did Bhagavan Shiva take Mundita form with no hair? A test for you. Before Ganga is not the answer. When did Lord Shiva not have hair on his head? Mundita, shaven head. Yo. Usually the hair is lost after marriage, man. Bhagavan Shiva also has his avatars. Like Bhagavan Vishnu, his avatar Karana is to protect and uplift the society. Similarly, Bhagavan Shiva, his avatar is Gyana avatar. Okay, I have given you a huge hint. So Mundita is in the form of Adi Shankaracharya. Vyupta Keshaya. So though most of the paintings and photographs that we have of Adi Shankaracharya ji is thanks to Ravi Varma. He was the one who popularized Adi Shankaracharya ji's that particular frame. You know that with the head covered with. He was constantly Mundita. Now what did he do in the form of Adi Shankaracharya? Here also, in this Paramahamsa form, he came in and destroyed the wrong attachment to the Karma Kanda by re-establishing Jnana Marga. So Bhagavan Shiva is the protector and propitiator of the Jnana Marga. So the Jata indicates tapasya. So when somebody is into deep tapasya, in Mahabharata, when Satyavati calls for her son's help, who is Satyavati and who is her son? Vyasa. Bhagavan Vyasa was Satyavati's son. For Ambika and Ambalika. So at that time he says, I am in tapasya, dirgha tapasya. and I am in the Rudra form. Rudra form, there was jata all over and the beard was overflowing, and he said, I am not in a, people will get scared looking at me. So when you are doing tapasya, your focus is not in maintaining a clean picture. Your focus is in intense tapasya without getting distracted by anything of the Deha Sakti. So the Jatadhari form is indicative of the tapasvin. And the Mundita, when does the complete Mundana happen? On the day of Gyana, called Sannyasa, when you give up everything. So the Jatadhari form of the Lord is indicative of all tapasya, and the Mundita form is indicative of Jnana. And then Skanda Deva Bhashya. There is one in the Shiva Purana, or Shiva Itihasa, it is not called Purana, it is called Shiva Itihasa. In the Shaiva Siddhanta, there is a third Itihasa. Traditionally, we talk about two Itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. In the Shaiva Siddhanta, there is one more called Shaiva Itihasa. In that Shaiva Itihasa, there is Skanda Deva Prokta Bhashya. On the entire Rudra, the Namaka and Chamaka, there is Skanda Deva's Bhashya, a very beautiful poetry. There are again arguments about who this Skanda Deva is. Some people say this must be somebody in the later period because of the easy form of Sanskrit that has been used. In a very later period, somebody has added that Bhashya. But the traditionalists and orthodox people believe that Skanda Deva is none other than Kartikeya, and he has given the beautiful interpretation of this Rudra Namaka Chamaka. I would like to go with the traditionalist here. So he says, Yogi Shaya Kapardine Akila Maha Yogeshu Yageshu Dikshita Bhrute Tubhyam. Kapardine Yogi Shaya, the Ishvara of the entire field of yoga. And he says Yogi Shaya does not just mean the yoga, Maha Yogeshu Yageshu Cha. The one who knows both the secrets of great yoga and great yaga. Tubhyam, and then Lupta Shiroruhaya Yajamanakara Bhaje Namaha. Lupta Shiroruhaya, the one who has done Mundana. So here he says that those who are practicing this yoga are the Jnana Marga Yogi. They are called the Paramahamsa Yogi. Paramahamsa, those who have taken into sannyasa. So when you take into sannyasa, the Dashanami as it is called, the 10 main ones, their entire name has the Paramahamsa added in. So, Puja Gurudev's name, that is our Parampara. So what would his full name be? It is Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Swami Chinmayananda Saraswati. It comes from Adi Shankaracharyaji's tradition. Even he is called Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Adi Shankaracharya. So the Paramahamsa tradition. So those who perform this yoga are the Paramahamsa tradition. And those who perform the yaga, they are of the, they undertake a separate diksha, whether it is a grihastha or a brahmachari. So when they take that particular diksha and sit for Mahayaga, in the earlier days the Mahayaga is like Satra Yaga, was conducted for Mandala Paryantam for 41 days. And they take that Diksha with a shaven head, with probably a tuft shikha maintained. So once I had asked one of our Swamijis as to why we maintain tuft as a brahmachari. So he said, so that it is easy for the Guru to hold on to something, to bring some sense into that Shishya. Which makes sense. Each hair denotes our attachment, represents our attachment to something worldly. So all the attachments put together as a mark of remembrance that this is what I have to work on. These attachments are the things that I have to work on. Work on meaning, what do I do? Completely remove them, cut them, to denote that there is the mundana, which today's tradition has become that I will go give it to Balaji. Baba, Balaji ko tumhare baal se koi kaam nahi hai. That is not why he is named Balaji. Like, many of these American people, when they come listen to the talks on Hinduism, so the first question is, do you speak Hindu? No, I don't speak Hindu. I speak about Hindus. So similarly, Balaji is not named Balaji because he takes all the bal. What will he do with your bal? Bal is in Hindi is hair. It is our effort to remember that these are the desires and they have to be given up. Then why do we maintain that shikha? The shikha is maintained because the only allowed attachment is to God, Guru and scriptures. So therefore that shikha is maintained. And as a sannyasa, that also is given up. Therefore the shikha is completely removed. So Mahayagakarine is the Yajamana who is a brahmachari or a grihastha who has also taken the diksha and he has shaven his head so that he can accomplish this great yaga. In both these forms, it is Bhagavan Shiva alone expressing. To such forms of Bhagavan Shiva expressing in today's world our salutations and prostrations. So one is the salutations to all those who are sannyasis. The second one, those who have taken a certain diksha, they are also to be respected as Bhagavan himself. Therefore, when you have taken that diksha, make sure that you don't run around all over the place. Until the diksha is complete, you are not allowed to move. Even in the sacred ceremony of marriage, there is a raksha. Raksha which is worn by both boy and girl. After you have taken that raksha, you are not supposed to leave that mandapa, that area. I'll go have a sleepover with my friends. No. Once you have taken the diksha, stay put. Of course, these were those days when marriages were done elaborately. Not like today, wherein the entire marriage ceremony can happen in, there is a bargain. 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Even if you go into the court to get the signatures and all the documents signed up, it takes more than 15-20 minutes. Anyways. So the Dikshita, they are also worship worthy because they are closest to God, or Bhagavan Shiva is expressing in their form. Lupta Shiroruhaya Yajamana Akara Bhaje Namaha. And the one who is the Jatadhari, he is Yogishaya Kapardine Namaha. He is the Lord of all the yoga. Therefore, our salutations to such Bhagavan Shiva. Moving forward. Next mantra. Namah Sahasrakshaya cha Shatadhanvane cha. The simple meaning of this is salutations to that one who has thousands of eyes. Sahasra Aksha. Aksha means eyes. And the witness is called Sakshi because Sa Akshena, with his or her own eyes, has seen something. Therefore called Sakshi. That which has happened right in front of you, called Pratyaksha. Prati Aksha, right in front of the eyes. The Aksha means eyes. Sahasraksha, to that Lord who has thousands of eyes. Can you just imagine a form with thousands of eyes? Don't interpret or misinterpret as saying that some kind of a mutant. The mutants are Ganas. Oh, there's a beautiful thought that just clicked. Like the X-Men series, we should have the Gana Men series. If you're wondering what is X-Men, was that the question? X-Men is the comic series in X-Men, the comic series wherein they are all mutants. They are the Ganas. But the Lord himself, it is not to be misunderstood that he is a mutant. There are various meanings. Shatadhanvane, the one who has a countless number of bows and arrows. So the first meaning is Bhagavan Indra is considered as Ananta Chakshu. He is also known as Sahasra Chakshu. So Bhagavan Shiva had taken the form of Indra to give darshan to Upamanyu. So therefore he is called Sahasraksha. So it was Bhagavan, it comes in Shiva Purana that Bhagavan takes the form of Indra and gives the darshan with Sahasra Netra. First meaning. The second meaning is taking off of the Vedic mantra Sahasra Sirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva. Sahasra Sirsha Purushaha. Sahasra Aksha. There also it is the same word used. So what does this Sahasraksha mean? That he is the witness, observing and watching you through every eye that is witnessing you. Now suddenly if it is put that way, the pressure is increased and squarely it lands in our lap. You know what? Every eye observing me, every eye seeing me, who is actually perceiving? It is Bhagavan himself perceiving. So there is not a scope, because we are not to take just account of human beings. Every form of creature, through them, who is witnessing us? It is Bhagavan Shiva. Therefore, when I come across anybody, what do? With that intent that it is that Bhagavan in them, I fold my hands and offer my Namahate. Namaste. That is the beauty or depth of a simple act called Namaste. We have seen that enough number of times earlier too. And why is it that we do that Namaste? Because it is to that form of Lord who is witnessing me. Sahasrakshaya. And in the Taittiriya Aranyaka, it is mentioned very clearly in a Gayatri mantra there, a part of which is Sahasrakshaya Mahadevaya Dhimahi. See, when we chant the Gayatri here, Rudra Gayatri, what is the Gayatri mantra that we chant? Tatpurushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. In the Taittiriya Aranyaka, there is another mantra wherein he is worshipped as Sahasrakshaya Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. So it is very clearly said that he is with 1,000 eyes. Or often Lord Shiva is worshipped as the one who is endowed with thousands of eyes. It is not to be understood that 1,000 eyes meaning 1,000 by 2, that many heads. No, that is not what the intent is. Here 1,000 is like thousands of, meaning innumerable number of. See, when you get really irritated with whoever you are getting irritated with, how many times do I have to tell you to do things right way? I have been telling you thousands of times. If the smart aleck who is getting scolded turns around to you and says, did you really count? Is this the 1,000th time? We should celebrate. This is only the second time, but you exaggerate it to say it as thousands. So when you say thousands, it means innumerable number of times, countless number of times. Similarly here, countless number of eyes. Sahasrakshaya. And another interesting factor, to find this I had to do quite a bit of digging, that in the Vedic literature, when Bhagavan Shiva is often referred to Indra, Agni and Soma. Bhagavan Shiva is directly referred to as Indra, Agni and Soma. So when Bhagavan Shiva is referred to as Indra, there he is worshipped as Kama Purana. Whatever is the Ichha of the devotee, when he fulfills that, he is often worshipped as Indra or Faladatrutva Rupa. Then Agni, Bhagavan Shiva is referred with the word Agni, it is the Upasya Rupa of the Lord. Because usually the Shiva Linga is formless. The closest form that he can be invoked is in the form of Agni. Does Agni have a form? Yes and no. You see the shape of Agni, but is it a consistent one? No. It is as equivalent as the Lingakara. So the Upasya form of the Lord is the Agni. And the Soma form of the Lord is the Gyana Rupa. Soma means the Gyana form. So the Lord is worshipped with, Lord is worshipped as the one who is endowed with thousands of eyes. And here when he said Indra, in various mantras we come across, and wherein we chant that Sayeva Agnihi, Sayeva Indraha, Sayeva, it comes in Ganesha Atharva Sirsha, it comes in various other suktas. That form of the Lord is the one who has taken all these various forms. Therefore, there is nothing wrong calling Bhagavan as Indra also. Sahasrakshaya Dhimahi. 1,000 eyes also indicates the Sarvajñatva of the Lord. That he is seeing everything, perceiving everything, knowing everything. So there is nothing that which will miss his scrutiny, his eyes. We may be like the cat. Does anybody own cats here? They say when the cat drinks milk, what does it do? It closes its eyes. So when people do mistakes, and they are often referred to with the simile of a cat, that you may be like a cat closing your eyes while you are doing the wrong thing. Because just because you close your eyes, does that wrong thing end up becoming good thing? There is somebody else who is observing keenly. And it is that Sarvajña Paramatma. Now the next one, it is Shatadhanvane. Shatadhanvane, he is the one who has taken the form of Kirartha Arjuna, Kartavirya Arjuna. He was known to have thousands of hands, and in each hand he had a separate bow. And his shoulder must have been quite extensively built, because for each one of these bows he had a separate quiver, separate kinds of arrows. And this is the Puranokta Shatadhanva. There is also another form, that Dhenuhu Merumakarayata. So Dhanur Merumakarayata. He made the Meru Parvata into his Dhanush. Then again we have heard in Kaivalya Upanishad and other places, Krutva cha Dhanur Omkaram. He made the Omkara as his Dhanush, as his bow. So there is quite a reference that Bhagavan Shiva can turn any of the equipment into his bow and arrow. So the Meru, Pranava, Pinaka, then there is a story of the entire Vedas turned into his bow. And many more such are possessed by the Lord, wherein he uses them to annihilate all that which is evil within and without. So Dhenu Makarayata. It's not Dhenu, Dhanu Makarayata. I don't know why I am saying Dhenu. Dhenu means a cow. Dhanu means something else, a bow. Sorry, it is not the cow, it is the bow. So here there are two forms of the Lord which are worshipped. The one form of the Lord that is worshipped is the Asura Samhara, holding these various weapons. And the second one is when he is worshipped as the Indra, he is worshipped as the Gyana Pradata. So both Pravritti form of the Lord and the Nivritti form of the Lord are worshipped in this particular form. Pravritti, wherein he is annihilating all the asuras, and Nivritti, Jnana happens only in Nivritti, not in Pravritti. The same concept of people telling that best of East and West, that we are in the material world but we are very spiritual. Both don't go hand in hand. If you have taken into the Jnana Marga, it has to be that U-turn, wherein you have to turn away from all that which is materialism and the attachment to it. And that is the Jnana Vritti that happens. And that Jnana Vritti is explained through the Sahasraksha, the all-knowing perceptor. So Pravritti and Nivritti both are worshipped through this particular mantra. Namah Sahasrakshaya cha Shatadhanvane cha. Moving forward again. Repeat after me. Namo Girishaya cha Shipivishhtaya cha. In Sanskritam there is Hrasva and Dirgha, which is adapted into all native Indian languages. Whether it is Hindi or South Indian languages or the North Indian languages, the structure that there are these vowels, and vowels are Hrasva and Dirgha, short and long. A, I, E, U, they are all vowels. And the consonants, when they are joined with the vowels, they carry the Hrasva and Dirgha. Why am I going into Sanskrit? Bhagavan Shiva is worshipped both as Girishaya and Girishaya. They are not print mistakes. See, when you read the 108 names of Lord Shiva, both these names come one after the other. Girishaya Namaha, Girishaya Namaha. Both have distinct meanings. With just one E, long and short, the meaning changes. Girishaya, no bolo. Girishaya, there Girishaya, the Dirgha, is the Lord of the Shakti. Giri there means Shakti. Girishaya is the one who lives in the mountain. And of all the trinities, he is the most accessible God. Literally. Why is he the most accessible God? Bhagavan Vishnu lives in Vaikunta. Therefore, my question is, why Kunta? Wherever it is. Brahma lives in Brahmaloka. And where does Shiva live? Just few thousand miles away from the Indian border in Kailasa. Kailasa Shikhara Nivasaya. There are some people who say that the very mountain is the form of the Lord sitting. There are others who say that it is not just the form of that mountain which is the Lord, but in that mountain is where Lord's abode exists. There was this Mahatma Ji, he was explaining that the entire Kailasha Parvata from the inside is 1/3 hollow, and it is a spiraling structure inside, on the top of which Bhagavan Shiva and his family resides, and rest of all his retinue and all the yogis, they sit in that spiraling looking at that Lord. My question to him was, have you been there? And his क्या कहते हैं हिंदी में कहते हैं बेझिझक unfumbling answer, straightforward answer was many times. And he also said there are a lot of these caves which many of these animals during winter go live in. You follow those caves, you can enter into that inner circle of that Kailasha where Bhagavan Shiva resides. So just now in the earlier mantra we said that Bhagavan Shiva is to be worshipped as Kapardina. Kapardina in the sannyasa form, right? So this was a great Swamiji speaking. So worshipping him in that form, I said, okay, I believe you. that there is Bhagwan Shiva in that mountain. And you will be surprised that it is not just the Hindus, but for various religious sects, various religious denominations, not within Hinduism, even outside, for them Kailasa Shikhara or Kailasa Parvata is very, very sacred. There were about 7 or 8 attempts made to climb over that Kailasa, and you know who holds that Kailasa Parvata Kshetra these days? And they have made expeditions to get over, and they were pulled out. They were asked not to climb on it through the UN, because there are various religious sects that believe that that is the most sanctified place. That is where the Lord resides. So Girishaya, the one who resides in the mountains of Kailasa Parvata. And as I said, he is the most accessible one. Then there is one Swamiji he gives, he said, he is, and he belonged to that particular Dashanami. Therefore he said, Bhagwan Shiva, his most favorite form of the Dashanami is the Giri Sampradaya. Like Saraswati is the end tag for those who are in Chinmaya mission, right? Similarly, there is the end tag Giri. Anandagiri, he was one of those famous ones who wrote a lot of Bhashya Tika on Shankar Bhashya. So the Giri is the most favorite one, therefore Bhagwan Shiva is worshipped and he resides among these Giri Sampradaya sannyasis. I said, Areva, Girishaya. Giri also means the physical body, Tanu. Girishaya, in all these physical structures, physical forms, that enlivening principle, that conscious principle which brings life into every form is that Lord. Therefore, he is called Girishaya. Namo Girishaya cha. Giri also means mountains, right? So the one who lives, if you look at all these great sacred temples of Bhagwan Shiva, usually where are they? Except Kashi. If you go into the Himalayan ranges, Tungnath, the Panchakedara, they are in such inaccessible corners of the mountain, right on the tip. So the one who resides on all these mountains. So a beautiful interpretation here, that he is the one who is through all these mobile creatures, beings. Giri meaning the physical bodies. So the Jangama, all the mobile creation is covered. And when it is taken as the immobile, Giri, and he resides in them, the Sthavara, all that immobile is covered. Meaning Charachara Jagat is pervaded by that Lord alone. Shipivishtaya cha. Shipivishtaya, the one who is the one who expresses as Bhagavan Vishnu himself. So here is the beautiful mantra wherein the same Bhagavan is worshipped both as Shiva and Vishnu. So here is the beautiful, this mantra is usually used in worshipping the form of Harihara. Harihara, that form which shows the unity or shows the oneness, that it is both Hari and Hara are nothing but that Paramatma alone. So why is Bhagavan Vishnu called Shipi Vishta? Shipi means all the jivas. And to these jivas, who is providing them for their every moment of their survival and living? Vishta meaning somebody who provides for all these jivas. And in Hinduism, we don't have a count on these jivas. Strangely, you get these questions that if the population is increasing, does it mean that God is creating more jivas? More souls are being created? The number of souls that can express are infinite. There is no finitude about it. And the example that the scriptures talk about is on all the oceans across the entire world, how many waves are born at any given point of time? I am not talking through the entire day, entire month, entire year. At any given point of time, how many waves are born? Don't give me a number and confuse me now. The answer that I am expecting is infinite, innumerable. And then the joke that hit my head was, how do you confuse a so-called smart one by asking him to find the corner of a round building? And how does he confuse you? By finding one. So when I asked you the question as to how many number of waves, 13 trillion 452 billion, wait a second. It is not to get a count, but to say that they are innumerable, they are infinite, because that who is supporting all these is infinite, that which is expressing is also infinite. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. From that Purnatva, there is only Purna that can express. Infinite alone can express. So there is no finitude. So in all these Shipi, meaning all the jivas, who is providing at every moment of their living and survival? Sustenance is his department. Right? He is the manager of sustenance department. So therefore he is called Vishnu as Shipi Vishta. So it is the same Lord who is expressing both Girishaya and Shipi Vishta. Harihara Aikya Rupa mantra. At least after reading this, there should be the grasp that whatever is the form that you worship, it does not matter. As long as you worship with that intensity and purity. People come and say, Swamiji, they say that I should not keep Shivalinga at home. What do I do? Well, keep it inside. Atmalinga. But don't do that, okay? I am just joking. I have to say the disclaimers also in this country for jokes. No, seriously, shouldn't we keep Shivalinga? Tumeva mata cha pita tumeva, tumeva bandhuscha sakha tumeva. When you are worshipping him with that intensity of your father, mother and everything, why would you be restricted in keeping that Shivalinga? They say, I should not keep Sri Chakra at home. If you are worshipping her as your mother, what is wrong? Yes, if you are using for any other kind of tantra, mantra, yantra, prayoga, they will have repercussion. And you, I don't know if you were ever in that kind of a situation wherein your father was the principal of that school where you were studying. Terrible situation. I wouldn't want to go to that school. But imagine that your father is the principal and you have to go to that school. So when you are invoking the same person as a principal, as an authority, there are repercussions if you don't follow certain things. But the same person as a father, there are no rules there. Am I getting across? So Hari Hara Rupa, whichever form that you worship, is leading us to that one Paramatma alone. Worship you must. Because Upasana Hina Karma is always leading to Hinatara Janma. Therefore, however intellectual you are, do some japa, do some puja sadhana every day. Namo Girishaya cha Shipi Vishtaya cha. So we will proceed tomorrow further. Did you have a question or something? Okay, I thought you were raising your hand. Scriptures.
You also mentioned that sannyasi is the echo of that also. Then why is that the Guru Mandala of Adi Shankara?
What's that?
Why is that the Guru Mandala of Adi Shankara? Right? Because once he has become a sannyasi, he would not have had a guru, an attachment to a guru. He would not have had shikshas for himself. Then why do we have that lineage in the first place after they became sannyasis?
So the question is about Adi Shankaracharya, that once the attachment is taken out by cutting away all the tuft, actually there is three things that they cut: the tuft, the Yagnopavita, and there is a Katibandha. Katibandha, a thread or a thick size thread which is tied around the waist. All three of them are cut. The one who has reached there has cut that entire attachment. But when you look at it from the standpoint that it was this particular guru who has given me this path of freedom, and not just shown the path but established me in that state of freedom, when I want to give back, I have nothing else to give but to say that I offer myself unto you. Therefore, it is surrender and not called attachment. And in technical words, Guruna saha advaitam ma bruyat. When you consider somebody as a guru, don't be a smart aleck in talking to them in Advaitic terms. Like it happened with Gurudev. There was this brahmachari, and Gurudev asked him, where are you these days? And he said, I am everywhere. And Gurudev immediately says, sorry, I did not recognize that aspect of it, and he prostrated to him immediately. You don't be a smart aleck to the one who has taught you that very path. And if you really recognize it from the pain, misery, sorrow and limitations that we have lived, and this freedom that is given, and the one who has given doesn't even seek anything back from us, there is only gratitude. In that kritagnyata, there is only surrender, and that is the difference between attachment and surrender. Now, this is with regards to their guru, sannyasins and their gurus. How about their shishya? Even with the shishya, there is concern but not attachment. What kind of concern? That not long ago, I was just right in their position, struggling to survive. Now that I have realized where I can be, See, if you are, say, in a Dallas environment, say there is a snowstorm. Very rarely it happened, but whenever it happened, it's a snowstorm. And when in Dallas we say snowstorm, it is half-inch snow, and it soon becomes sleet. You somehow manage to drive through carefully, and right in front of you, you see somebody meet an accident. You have gone across the road, now you are in the parking lot, but across you see somebody, in a dangerous situation, and what do you immediately do? Would you say that, well, you have come in such snowstorm, you should be either a good driver or your luck must be strong? Neither seems to be working with you. Too bad, and you take off. If not, what is the least that you can do? You want to do something, right? Why? Because you know the pain with which you have come so far. And somebody is stuck. You would want to reach out and help. So that glorious path which I am enjoying, I can give. And then in the last standpoint, I would say it is more of a compulsion. When somebody is happy, you cannot sit gloomy. Even the little vyavaharika sukha that we get, a promotion, bonus, or whatever you got, what do you immediately do? And if you are from Hyderabad and if somebody shares that news with you, for anything that you do or don't do, how do you recognize a Hyderabadi? They ask for a party. Chalo party ho jaye. See, when you are in that joyful mode, what do you want to do? You want to gather all those that you are concerned about and want to share your joy. Right? Now this ananda that is being cherished by the Guru Parampara is of such unlimited nature. Therefore, what do you want to do when you have that kind of ananda? You want to share, and therefore you don't want anything in return, because nothing can equate with that ananda. So both ways it stays connected, that the sampradaya or the lineage, as you said, Guru Mandala, continues. Not with the need by the Guru, but it is a need of the Sishya to maintain that connection, to grow. Makes sense? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.